The rectangular playground design shown below consists of a lawn and two equal semicircles of concrete. So here's the diagram representing this. Use pi equals to 22/7 where necessary in this question. Calculate the perimeter of the lawn. And so here we have the lawn shaded, right? And so we have to determine the perimeter of the lawn. Now, what is the perimeter of the lawn? The perimeter of the lawn is the distance around the lawn. And so let's figure out this distance. Notice that what we're gonna do, in order for us to figure out the perimeter of the lawn, we're gonna first use 20. Now, why we use 20? We use 20 because notice that we have this distance, right? So this is part of the lawn. So that's why we have 20 meters right there. That's why we have 20, all right? Because we have to account for this aside. Now, we have this semicircle, we have this curved portion right there, right? And this curved portion is part of the semicircle. So this is a curved portion of a semicircle, all right? And the formula for that curved portion is pi r, okay? That's the formula for the curved portion of a semicircle. Now we have another length here, which is 20 meters, because if this is 20 meters, this is also 20 meters, and so that's why we have 20 here. And then we have another curved portion of a semicircle right here. And the curved portion of a semicircle is given by the formula pi r, all right? And so this is what we're gonna use in order to figure out the perimeter of the lawn. And so let me erase our link. And so what we have here is 20 plus pi r plus 20 plus pi r. Now we know what pi is, but what is r, right? R is the radius. So if you look at this particular length here, this is 14 meters. This is actually the diameter, but the radius is half of this, right? Half of 14, right? Because the radius is always half of the diameter. So the radius in this case is going to be 14 divided by 2, right? Because the radius is half of 14. And so the radius is going to be, let me just write that down. So r equals to 14, right? 14 divided by 2. And so that means that r is equal to, what is 14 divided by 2? 14 divided by 2 is 7. So r is 7. And so that's why we have here, notice that we have 20, we have pi is equal to 22/7, and we have r, well, r is 7, right? Because that is the radius. We put 20 here, we put pi, which is 22/7, and we put r because r is equal to 7. Next, we cancel, so we cancel this 7 with this 7, and we cancel this 7 with that 7, and so we are left with 20, right? Plus 22 on top, right? Plus 20 right here, plus 22 on top. So we have 20 plus 22 plus 20 plus 22, and when we add up these together, we get 84 meters. And 84 meters is the perimeter of the lawn. Next, it says that fencing is sold at $40.75 per meter. Calculate the cost of fencing the lawn. And so for each meter that we have, it's going to be $40.75 for each meter. But remember, the perimeter of the lawn is 84 meters. So we have 84 meters, and we know that each meter is $40.75. And so in order for us to figure out the cost for fencing the lawn, we're going to say 84, right? We're going to say 84 multiplied by 40.75. So 84 multiplied by 40.75, and that gives us 3,422. I'm sorry, 3,423. And so that is the cost of fencing the lawn, $3,423. Next, it says calculate the area of the lawn. Now, in order for us to calculate the area of the lawn, so here's the gist of it. This is what we're going to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out, okay, what is the area, right? What is the area of this whole thing, right? What is the area of this whole thing, right? So the entire rectangle. So what is the area of the entire rectangle. Like, what is this area? All right. All right. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Figure out the area of this entire rectangle. That's the first thing, right? Now, once we figure out the area of this entire rectangle, then what we're going to do is we're going to find the area. We're going to calculate the area of the semicircular portion. So we're going to figure out the area of this portion, right? The semicircular part. We're going to figure out the area of that. And then we're going to figure out the area of this semicircle portion, right? So we figure out the area of that. And then once we figure out the area of the semicircular portion, we're gonna take it away, or we're gonna subtract it from the area of the rectangle. So when we take this area away, all right? So when we take the area of this semicircular portion away, we take it away, then what will be left? What will be left with? Will be left with the area of the lawn. Okay, so that's the idea. We find the area of the whole rectangular shape. We find the area of the whole thing. And then we find the area of the concrete, right? The area of the semicircular portion. And we remove it or take it away from the area of the whole rectangle. And when we do that, we'll be left with just what's in the middle, the area of the lawn. And so that's the gist of how we're going to do it. So let's figure out the area of the rectangle. And the area of the rectangle is going to be, well, 20 length times width. So it's going to be 20 meters multiplied by 14 meters. And so 20 meters is the length and 14 is the width. So 20 meters times 14 meters, and we get 280 meters squared. And so that is the area of the rectangle. Now we have to figure out the area of the concrete. Now what we have, notice that we have, this is important, we have two semicircles, all right? And so if we have two semicircles, notice that we have, right? We have, let me use this thing. So we have this semicircle, all right? And we have, all right, and we have the next semicircle, okay? And so if we want to figure out the area of these two semicircles, what we're basically figuring out is the area of a circle, okay? So two semicircles, if we put them together, that gives us a circle. And so if we have, if we want to figure out the area of two semicircles, what we're basically trying to figure out is the area of one circle. And so we're going to use the formula for one circle, which is pi r squared. So that's the area of one circle, which is essentially the area of two semicircles combined. All right, so that's what we're doing. So we have the area of one circle, which is basically the area of two semicircles combined, and that is pi r squared. We know that pi is 22 over 7. We know that the radius is 7. And so we have 22 over 7 multiplied by 7 squared. Now, 7 squared is 49. So we have 22 over 7 multiplied by 49. Next, we say 22 over 7 multiplied by 49 over 1. So we put 49 over 1. And we multiply 22 times 49, which gives us 1,078. And we have 7 times 1, which gives us 7. And so we have 1,078 divided by 7, which gives us 154 meters squared. So now we have the area of the rectangle and we have the area of the two semicircular portions. And so now we're going to subtract. So the area of the lawn is going to be equal to the area of the rectangle minus the area of the concrete. And so that's going to be 280 meters squared minus 154 meters squared. And so that means that our answer here is 126 meters squared, and that is the area of the lawn.